INFJs are amazing. They're probably the easiest personality type for me to just be around. Because I can usually be around an INFJ for a long time, and I can't be around people for a long time, most of the time. I think an ENTP, I've read before that an ENTP is the most the most introverted extrovert. And I've seen different things say different things, but I've read that more than other things. And then I've also read that the INFJ is the most extroverted introvert. And I do think that's true, because I know INFJs and they can totally seem like they're absolute extroverts. But they usually will be a little bit quieter at first. You know, they're introverts here. So a lot of the time the INFJ will wait for you to talk to them. And then once the doorway opens with an INFJ, then it's just like it's just like freaking like a waterfall of like happiness. You know what I mean? But if once you get the door, once the INFJ the door is opened and they can relate to you in some way or say something and connect, and you do connect, then it's no more introvert. Bye bye introvert. You know what I mean? And INFJs also, although they can spend a lot of time alone, they can spend a lot of time alone. But they also really need to have people around. And INFJs like to have people around. Like, it has to be their people. Sometimes it has to be their people. Like, they'll have their certain people. Like, there's kind of, like, safe, like, people. And then they can be around them all the time. All the time. They don't need to be, like, ever, like, complete. Well, like, yeah, they do have to be alone. But if they have their certain people, they can just be, they can do things with them. They can go to the store with them. They can, like, you know, and they're totally cool about it. And then other INFJs can have people coming in and out, all the, like, different kinds of people. And INFJs usually do really love people, I think. You know, from what I can tell, INFJs really like people and want to think the best of people, and want the best for people. Truly and totally mean it sincerely. And they're also very humble. Usually pride is nowhere, and I think that's the introverted, you know, intuition thing. The knowing thyself. So I think pride doesn't really have to come into it for an INFJ, you know, because extroverted intuition goes out and everything and is like having to like prove itself all the time, where introverted intuition isn't. It's all inside, you know. So then I think pride comes from being doubted and, you know, looking outwards for validation. But I think an INFJ often gets a lot of validation from inside, you know, and it probably depends on where you are in your development. But a lot of the INFJs I know, they own who they are. But some have, I think the guys and the girls are very different, too. I think girls have more problems owning who they are and coming to terms with themselves. Well, I don't know, maybe the INFJ guys do, too, because I've just met a couple, and they seem to also kind of, like, you know, be cool with themselves, but one was, but be more lonely and haven't found the right person yet, I think. At least one of them, the first one I met, kind of felt like it seemed like he felt like there was maybe nobody out there for him, you know. So I really hope he looked up, I hope he's watching this, because I hope he looked up this and he knows that there's tons of people out there for him, and he just has to look for the right person, but he doesn't know who to look for because he doesn't know about MBTI, first of all, and it's not a magic solution or whatever, but, you know, if you don't have tons of experiences here, and then you know yourself so well, and then your intuition doesn't work on love, and then you just give up, by the time the ENTP's coming, you know, to the point that, like, if it's a girl, anyway, that she's finally knowing herself, because it's going to take a while for an ENTP to know herself, and I think I actually, like, have started to, like, really get myself, sooner than, at least by the website, say I'm supposed to, which is still not early at all. Come on, it's like my late 20s, 30s. I told my friend the other night I never would want to self-actualize because I would get bored, you know. That's an ENFP. An ENFP wants to know all the answers. That was interesting for me. An ENFP wants to know everything and climb, you know, like, get it. And, like, ENTP, for me, I never want to know all the answers. There has to be another question over the horizon, or I would bore myself to death. Like, even if it was only me knowing all the answers, I would hate that. First, no one to talk to about it with. Second, I'd know everything. That's so boring. Anyway, back to the point. I wonder what INFJs think about that question. I've been talking for so long about INFJs, and I have a whole other video where I recorded in my car where I'm talking about them, too. I can't believe I talked about you guys for this long. Actually, I could talk about them. But yeah, I do. I absolutely adore INFJs. ENTP, I guess I should do my thing that I usually do, right? Okay, so I'll just hold that up so you can see what ENTP is. So driver is extroverted intuition. Passenger is internal thinking. Third function, I wish this had another name. I like calling them driver and passenger, or goose and maverick, but then it's like third function is extroverted feeling, and then the naughty kicking one is introverted sensing. So, you know, extroverted intuition sees all the possibilities that... Here, now we can hold them up together. I did that on purpose so I could open this. This makes me really happy that I can do that. As you can see, so supposedly this is why these two are such a good matchup, because the first function is the same except swapped, and the last function is the same except swapped as far as introversion and extroversion go. So, you know, we got extroverted intuition versus introverted intuition, and then introverted sensing, extroverted sensing, and then these two are swapped as far as places go. So, you know, they're the same but swapped, I mean. And I guess that just, like, makes a very balanced partnership, you know, either friendship or working relationship or love relationship. Because, you know, first of all, these two are going to both be abstract thinkers, you know. They're going to be awesome at abstract speaking. INFJs are better speakers than ENTPs as far as saying things in a way that you can understand them. Maybe that's because they're introverts and they take their time to think about things and form their theories and they're there. I don't know. But INFJs are usually better like at telling stories or getting a point across, you know, or telling you about something. They're not going to flit all over the place like the extroverted intuition ENTP is. So yeah, maybe that's an introversion thing. But so we're going to get each other all the time, which is really true. Conversations with INFJs are so easy and so much fun. It's always easy to talk to an INFJ. That's actually the only, like I said, I can be around INFJs for a long time. The only danger of it is that I'll never get anything done. Because if I wander into the room and start talking about something with an INFJ, then we're just gonna keep talking forever, you know? And INFJs don't generally get pissed off when ENTPs think of something because of their intuition exploding and have to jump in and say something and then feel bad. But they're not going to get pissed off at an ENTP for doing that usually, and usually they'll just go and they'll talk about, you know, they won't be like, anyway, back to my point, you know, they can just kind of go off into, like, onto the trail of intuition and follow it as far as it will go usually. INFPs can do that with ENTPs as well, so that's really fun. And ENFPs can also do that. Those are really fun conversation buddies, for reals. And INTPs are, you already know how much I love INTPs, so we don't have to go there. So we're both perceivers first, as far as, you know, information is coming in first before we're making decisions about things. Whereas, you know, if the TI was here or the FE was here, that would mean that we're making our decisions first and then letting our passenger feed us the information. So, you know, instead it's the other way. Instead, we're both going to wait to make our decisions. We're going to look around first or look within first, and then we're going to kind of weigh things, and then we're going to use our judging function. So the INFJ is going to use extroverted feeling to make their decisions. So this is, again, the group think, you know, or the group feel. What society thinks, what would be proper, things like that, you know, what would make the group happy, where the ENTP is going to use introverted thinking to, you know, make their decisions by categorizing and analyzing and using deductive reasoning and all that, you know. So it's an internal thing. It comes only from inside. And then FEs are a third, the TI is their third. So, you know, it's a little different. You know what I mean? We're all like a little different here, but enough to keep it interesting. And then last is external sensing, and here is internal sensing. So, you know, memory, recall, things like that, remembering to, like, eat and stuff like that. And ENTPs can be pretty messy. You know, I'm happiest when it's clean, but I can get a little bit messy. And like I said, INFJs can be, they can be a little bit messy too. I think I've even read that before. I mean, they like things to be orderly. Again, even if an INFJ has like a pristine house or something like that, probably they have a cleaner, or if they clean themselves, they like things to look nice. So most likely, I think they'll probably get like, they would prefer to have a cleaner, I think, an INFJ would, because they want things to look pretty, but they don't really always want to pay attention to it. You know, they don't have, like, SC. It's not till their fourth function. You know what I mean? And they've got too many awesome, fun things to think about with it, their intuition. I have to wrap this up soon. I've been talking about y'all forever, but I feel like I have so much more that I could say. It's like insane. I wonder if anybody's even watching still. Anyway, these two can talk forever. They're gonna get each other's jokes all the time. They both really love words. They both love play on words. They like, you know, they like sarcasm, and they like, you know, symbolism and metaphors and things like that. And they're both always going to be looking for a deeper meaning, too. You know, a meaning between the meaning or behind the meaning. Sometimes this can mess them up, I think. Also, it can mess them up, first of all, that they understand each other, you know, and I think I read that once, you know. Maybe not so much now. For me, it wouldn't mess me up. I was talking about myself now, because it's like, oh, I get it, and I get my intuition clicks. But I think if you don't know that you're intuitives and you meet, it might kind of freak you out at first how well you can get along. Also for INFPs, I think, at least for me. And how fast somebody will get you and be there with you. INFPs actually really get me a lot of the time. Actually, I just met an ENFP in real life finally, and he really, like, you know, he got it too. So, they're going to speak the same FE language. You know, I mean, it's extroverted feeling. This one is going to be more polite and more socially inclined because it's their second function and their decision-making function. This ENTP is going to be less so. I mean, they're going to do it, but, you know, they're going to care less. So even though INFJ knows that they're unique and like a weird little peacock running around, and so does ENTP, ENTP is going to care less about like what people think about it, you know, or being proper or right in the situation, where INFJ is. INFJs also love routines.